Hello, 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 good people. I know you are all looking amazing today. I got this tiny little pimple right here. Y'all see it, but forget that. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to NGB Business News, the greatest business news commentary channel on YouTube. Because you know we keep it real over here. We keep the civil discourse going. And we got a good video stream for you guys here today. We got George Santos was apparently charged. I heard that he might have beat the charge, but let's get into all of that because that's going to be real interesting to see and everything like that. I believe he was guilty of wire fraud or something along those lines. You know, there's been a lot of fraud going around this year. You know, it started with like Jake Paul, then it went into Sam Bankman-Fried, and it's just been getting crazy. We're also going to talk about the House Republicans attacking the Biden administration because if you guys don't know, Hunter Biden actually had been receiving a lot of money from China. Yes, China of all places. You know, United States' biggest op, you could say. You know, so that's real interesting. We're going to see maybe where the money came from, what it was for. I think this was during Joe Biden's vice presidency, which makes it even uglier, you know, and everything like that. So we're going to get into the details of that. We're also going to talk about Donald Trump. And apparently in some city hall, he's hosting some type of event, or maybe he's opening up the city hall. I'm not sure, but people are a little concerned because, you know, he just had this essay trial, for with Jean Carroll, which he lost and had to give her, I believe, $1 million or something along those lines. So that's going to be really interesting to touch on. You know what I'm saying? You can't escape your past. And I guess in Donald Trump's case, he deals with so many cases that he can't escape what he did last week. You know what I'm saying? And everything like that. And last, we're going to have to get into Putin. Excuse me. Ooh. Putin's very ugly, I guess, parade that he had. I guess he had a military parade, which is a very interesting to have when you're actually in the middle of a war. And apparently it was like one tank, you know. It's like when you're in college, you know, and you pull up to the party, you're like, oh yeah. You pull up with all your boys, you pull up with some girls and everything like that. And they got a six-pack in the fridge at the party. That's all they got. Everybody gets one beer. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. You know, you see one tank at a military parade and you're kind of like, are we going to win this? Like, you know where all the tanks are. They're obviously out there on the battlefield, but it's like, is this all we got left? Like, is this the reserves? You know what I'm saying? And everything like that. But I'm not going to hold you guys up. Let's have a good time. I've got my beer, you know what I'm saying, and everything like this. This beer is actually almost finished, so I'm going to grab another one pretty soon. But let's go ahead and get into the first topic, which is going to be about George Soros or Santos being charged, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. And he pleaded guilty, saying that he would not resign. Now, if you guys don't know, he is the Republican representative of New York. This is him right here. This is what he looks like and everything like that. He reminds me, I know a guy that kind of looks very similar to him, I must say. But let's see. Now, Republican George Santos, okay, perfect, of New York, said Wednesday he will not be resigning from office after pleading not guilty to an array of federal crimes, including fraud, theft, money laundering, and making false statements. He struck a defiant tone as he spoke to a swarm of reporters after his brief arraignment in federal court in Long Island. He called the case a witch hunt as he vowed to clear his name. Now, the scandal-plagued freshman congressman who took office less than 5 months ago confirmed he had plans to run for re-election in 2024, which, as you guys know, this is definitely going to make his re-election a lot stickier. Now, he is accused of spending campaign funds on luxury clothing. He was out there buying that Versace, that Gucci, you know what I'm saying? He had to be fresh, and car payments, fraudulently receiving more than $24,000 in unemployment benefits, and reporting false income and asset data on house disclosure forms. He was arraigned on Wednesday afternoon, hours after his arrest, on a 13-count indictment. He was released on a $500,000 bond, so it's pretty serious out here, a spokeswoman from the courthouse said. Now it says this indictment seeks to hold Santos accountable for various alleged fraudulent schemes and brazen misrepresentations. She said at the press release. Taken together, the allegations of this indictment charge Santos with relying on repeated dishonesty and deception to ascend the halls of Congress and enrich himself. He is scheduled to appear in court again on June 30th before the U.S. District Judge Joanna Seibert. The congressman appeared Wednesday afternoon in a packed congressman for his brief arraignment before a federal magistrate judge. It's becoming a thing now. Is this, I wonder, ever since Trump and everything came around, I wonder, is it like this whole idea of politicians, like, what I'm saying, going to jail or ending up in court cases, like, is this about to start becoming the new norm? Like, has Trump now opened the door for, hey, as long as you're not guilty, like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. Like, this is normal. And I really don't think that people should have to pay penalties for charges that they're guilty of, or else then you could eventually, essentially accuse anyone of any type of charge. And then, even if they beat it, you still pretty much ruin their reputation. So if that was your goal, then that would be pretty much a way to do it. You just sue somebody, you spend some money on some lawyers, and even if you lose it, it's fraudulent. You ruin their reputation. You might have still achieved the goal that you wanted to achieve. But I do think that kind of does say a lot about the state of America, that we're starting to see so many politicians dealing with these types of things. I mean, politicians, as before, normally do have a lot of dirt behind them, DUIs, things like that are on their records and stuff. But, you used to not hear about it. Now, it's all in the forefront. Now it says his bond is secured by three sureties whose identities are being kept private due to fears of potential retaliation. Santos surrendered his passport and was ordered to not travel outside of New York, and Washington, D.C. without getting advance permission from the court and pretrial services. A spokesperson for Santos' office referred CNBC to the congressman's counsel, who did not respond for comment. They never do. Why would they? When they're ready to say something, they'll come out and they will say it themselves. Now, the charges follow a mountain of scandals that have weighed Santos down since he was sworn into Congress in January. So just starting out, The freshman Republican weeks earlier announced his 2024 re-election campaign, rebuffing critics from both parties who would call for his resignation. He faces a maximum penalty of 20 years for the top charges against him. I'm surprised it was only 20 years. That seemed like that was a decent bit of charges. You guys know, normally financial crimes aren't. Normally, you're not caught and thrown into jail for financial crimes, but normally they do, like, if you actually get found guilty, which rarely happens, but when it does happen, it's normally a pretty harsh crackdown when you're doing, like, financial crimes, that type of thing. I think about even Mike, the situation from Jersey Shore, had to go away for, like a year or something like that. Now it says the indictment filed in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York alleges Santos orchestrated a scheme to trick supporters of his congressional campaign to send money to a Florida-based company that he managed, which would be extremely ugly. Seems like a conflict of interest, Thousands of those dollars were then spent on his personal expenses, including luxury designer clothing and credit card payments. It says Santos allegedly directed a unnamed person to falsely tell supporters the company was a nonprofit and that it would use the contributions for Santos' congressional bid. In actuality, he converted most of those funds to his own personal benefit. This was, of course, according to the, indictment, which he was found non-guilty of. But almost ask when we have to deal with these situations now, which it seems like we're going to have to start dealing with a lot more in the future. The thing I think about is somebody's credibility. So think about this. Right now, we're sitting here and we're reading an article that CNBC put out because this person was found not guilty. So I'm sitting here, I'm speaking about the topic, I'm covering the news. It's my job. I cover the news. It's what I do. I'm covering the news. Maybe your connotation of Santos will be worse by me covering this news. I hope not, because he was found not guilty. But you get the point that I'm trying to make. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, how should you be able to kind of sue news sites for essentially they're telling the truth? But this will still ruin your reputation if you guys know what I kind of mean by this. I don't necessarily know exactly how to explain it, but I feel like a lot of you guys know what I mean by this. It's like just by writing this article, you're kind of screwing Santos over, even though he was found non-guilty. Now let's see. Now it says he was also charged with falsely claiming to be unemployed in order to receive government benefits during the C-19. At the time, he was the regional director of an investment firm. Excuse me. They made $120,000 a year. He allegedly received about 24K in undeserved unemployment insurance benefits. Well, he was found non-guilty. I feel like that. I feel like that would be something that's pretty easy to prove. Like, was he working? Then you could easily just go to his career, his job, and see was he working during this time, and then just it's the government. They can obviously go pull up the government paperwork and see did he collect these benefits during this time where he was working. So with him being found non-guilty or not guilty, obviously this wasn't what happened. So that's what I'm saying. Why are they still sitting out here putting out articles if, it was like that? I guess they're still trying to, make history, show this case did happen. This was the facts of the case. This is what he was being attacked with and everything like that. But I feel like at a certain point, this has got to become slander. It's almost like if, let's say somebody got accused of SA when they were 18 years old and they were non-guilty because they didn't do it. If everybody is talking about it, news reports are still talking about it when they're 30 years old, they're going out and doing great things and they still have to deal with that, non-guilty SA where they didn't do anything. That's hurting their reputation throughout all of those years, and to the point where it could almost be slander. That person may not even be able to get certain jobs because of that, because people are always going to look at them as that person, even though they were found not guilty. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a very fine line between reporting the news that happened and everything like that, and almost like I guess I would call it like a weak form of slander. It's not outright slander because it is true. It is true. But at the point where a court case is somebody's found not guilty, it seems kind of disingenuous to constantly put out something that they didn't even do, because people will still kind of look at them and they'll still tie that terrible deed that was involved in the court case with that person. Now it says, coincidentally, the House could consider a bill this week targeting C-19 fraud by providing incentives for states to investigate and recover overpay of those benefits. Santos is one of the bill's co-sponsors. The congressman is also accused of making false statements in the House disclosure reports he was legally required to complete as candidate for office. In the forms he filled out for his 2020 campaign, he failed to report more than $25,000 in income from the investment firm where he worked, the indictment alleged. In his 2022 campaign, he falsely reported $750,000. Ooh, that's a good bit. In salary in between 1 and 5 million dividends from his company, the Dolvoider organization. So I think this is really pretty interesting, guys. I think this is an interesting one. I mean, it's nice to see, shout out to Santos, not DeSantis. I'm thinking, you guys know exactly who I'm thinking about, Mr. Florida governor over there. But Santos, W day for him and everything like that. But this is, like I said, this is going to be something that's going to linger over his head. So I just want to know what you guys think about it and everything like that. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the news should still cover court cases and still kind of include that? Maybe this is a little bit different since this court case was extremely recent. But let's say he's trying to run for president in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Would it be disingenuous for news stations to constantly bring this up, even though he was found not guilty? Do you think there should be some type of protections against that? Because with just bringing it up, even if you were found non-guilty, that could affect your employment. That could affect the way people vote for you. That could affect a lot of things. So let me know what you guys think about that. Definitely throw the likes in the comments and everything like that, and subscribe for sure, to help the channel grow and everything like that. Great first topic too, very interesting. I'm going to smash this beer and I'm going to get into the next one. The next one is actually about to be about Hunter Biden, which, you know, Hunter Biden is an extremely ugly individual, but I will be right back, people. I'll be right back. Oh. Oh. All right. So let's get into this. Bro, what's up? Hey, y'all already know. Y'all who watching already know. Y'all are going to see the comments in the future and everything. Check out NFL Weekly Analysis with my boy Trayvon. He really got the videos, you know what I'm saying? He got the compilations, you know, if you like a sports team, NFL for sure. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. It's good stuff over there. He's got good stuff. He's got people who are entering the league and everything like that. He kind of shows videos too, little snippets of like, you know, them at the combine, you know, everything like them, even clips from them back when they were in college or they were in high school, progressing into the league, everything like that. It's real good content. I hope you're doing good, bro. Take your shot. Take your shot. I'm with you. But let's get into this next topic, guys. So the next topic that we're talking about is this ugly man, Hunter Biden. I assume, I don't know, Biden's got a lot of kids, but I think we are talking about Hunter Biden today. Yes, we are. Now, it says House Republicans escalate attacks on Biden family, alleging business with foreign nationals. Oh yeah, you already know, bro. You already know. You got good content over there too. There's nothing. It's never anything to shout out good content. Let's keep that a stack. Now shouting out bad content. Oh my gosh. Now that is an infringement on the freedom of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Send somebody over there and they got to watch some BS. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Now let's see what's going on over here. Now it says Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee mounted more attacks Wednesday against President Joe Biden, Mr. Sleep himself, Mr. Sleepy, Mr. Dementia himself. And I do not wish dementia on anybody, absolutely. But when you know your president's got dementia, hey, it's about time to retire. Like, guys, like, Joe, like, you did what you needed to do. You did your service for your country. It's time for you to hit the Bahamas, bro. Get a towel, put a towel over you. You know what I'm saying? And can somebody please just make sure that there's a Secret Service agent with Joe Biden, because we don't want Joe Biden to get lost at the beach. We know he has a really hard time after his speeches deciding, oh, do I exit stage left? Do I exit stage right? So we need a caretaker for Joe Biden to make sure that he can get to his hotel room. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. But, okay. Now, they were alleging that relatives of the president engaged in business with foreign nationals without detailing evidence of any crime. I don't know why they would detail evidence of any crime. But Chairman James Comer, Republican of, what is KY, Kentucky? Is that Kentucky? Let me know if I'm wrong. Sent a memorandum Wednesday morning to Republican members of the panel, which is investigating the finances of the Biden family, about what he describes as information that the committee had recently received from subpoenas from 4 different banks. Now, the memo said that subpoenas were tailored to specific individuals and companies that engaged in business activities with the Biden family members and their business associates. And they pretty much didn't give out any details. Of course, they didn't give out any details now. Now it says, you know, obviously the Biden family's alleged business dealings with foreign nationals which if you guys didn't know, it's the Chinese people. If you didn't know, I don't know why they keep calling it foreign nationals. I mean, it is multiple countries that they were involved with, but the one that we're all thinking about is the Chinese. The one that makes this a little sketchy is the Chinese, because as we know, China hates us. The Chinese government hates us. And so it would be very weird, especially, for the president and pre-vice president's son to be doing deals with, really involving a country that does not like us. They threatened us like last month, like 2 months ago. They literally threatened us. Now, let's continue. Now, it alleges that the Biden family activities in Romania, shout out Andrew Tate, bear clear indicia, yeah, of a scheme to peddle influence from 2015 to 2017. So this is definitely while Joe Biden was vice president. His son Hunter, through an associate, received more than $1 million. Small for the Biden family, not small at all though. Controlled by a Romanian official accused of corruption. So I had never heard of any involvement with them possibly in Romania, but I did hear about their involvement in China. So, maybe they're making their rounds here, and everything like that. I don't really know exactly what would be the issue with them doing business in Romania. I don't know exactly what the United States' relationship is with Romania or anything like that, but they are being accused of corruption. So hopefully this article will kind of give us some type of indicator of to how there was corruption involved. I mean, you're allowed to do business in other countries, obviously. You're allowed to do business in China, obviously. It's just when your dad is the vice president and China is, I guess you could say, our biggest op. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to NBA Youngboy, the richest op, and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Then it gets into, you kind of want to look at it a little bit. It just seems strange. It seems a little weird, and everything like that. You never want to mess with, you know what I'm saying? If you support a country, if you support the United States, it's weird to do business in China. You know what I'm saying? Especially if your dad's the president. If you're just a business, you know what I'm saying, in the United States, that's a little different because you don't have any ties to the United States government. But if you have ties to the United States government and he's got family ties, people are going to ask questions. So it's fine if you do that business in China. Just be transparent about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Be transparent about it. And it doesn't seem like they're being transparent about it. So then people like me go and ask questions. You know what I'm saying? People like me go and make YouTube videos about it. Now it says Hunter Biden provided legal advice to a Romanian businessman charged with real estate fraud. There's no evidence that Hunter Biden or his father acted improperly or violated any laws. Okay, then why are we reading this article? Now, it says the memo also says the Biden family and associates activities and coordinated with Chinese nationals and their corporate entities appear to engage in financial deception. Which financial deception can be very hard to kind of track, especially when dealing with foreign countries. Like think about Sweden, for instance. If an American takes this money and puts it into a Swedish bank account, those people from Sweden are the Swiss people, not Sweden's, Switzerland, a Swiss bank account. Excuse me. Shout out to their cheese too, by the way. You know what I'm saying? They go to war to protect your money. If the United States, if they want to send you to jail and they want to access your money, it's not in the United States bank, and they go over to the Swiss are like, nope, sir. Nope. They make it extremely hard for the United States government to be able to access that money. And that's why when you're watching your movies and all of that, you hear about rich people putting their money into Swiss banks. There's a reason for it. You know what I'm saying? And if you got your money, you know what I'm saying, you might want to stay away from that SVB, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. If you're a rich person, you should definitely be thinking about banks right now. There's a lot of collapses going on right now and everything like that. People like Warren Buffett telling you, hey, you shouldn't be that scared. But let's be real here. You only got $250K insured. So if you're rich, you got more than $250K in that bank. So you should be wondering where that other money is going. It's about time to take a flight to Switzerland, my guys. Take me with you too, because if you're watching this and you're rich and you built the idea that it's time to go to Switzerland, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. Just, you know, you can thank me with a trip to Switzerland. I'll pull up with you, you know what I'm saying? I'll buy you a shot. You just buy the hotel, the plane, you know what I'm saying? Buy me some more drinks, you know what I'm saying? Everything like that, you know what I'm saying? We can go out, we can meet some Swiss girls or something, you know what I'm saying? Eat some Swiss cheese. You know, it could be a good time, good time, good time, good time. Gotta ask. You know, you never know. Now, let's continue. Now, it says that the previous allegations that Comer made against Hunter Biden in March, which he alleged that the president's son and at least 2 relatives, so it's like a family affair out here. Shout out to the people who are in the chat too. Trayvon, I don't know if you're also in the if you're still in the chat, but shout out to you for sure. They were paid $1.3 million by an associate of Hunter Biden who had been wired $3 million from a Chinese energy company that was affiliated with another company Hunter Biden had been doing business with. So, NBC News reported that there was no indication that that Joe Biden played a role in his son's dealings in China. It's still ugly. You know what I'm saying? It's still ugly. But it's as long as there was no wrongdoing, that would be fine. But I personally know that a lot of these statements that they were getting from these banks weren't having people's full names on it. It was like some documents that, you know, were tied to other people didn't have everyone's names. It was kind of like a little sketchy, you know what I'm saying? It was a little sketchy, not necessarily illegal, but possibly illegal if people took the time to look more into it. And who is about to look more into it? The Republicans. The Republicans are definitely going to take the time. They like, I got time today. You feel me? Now, let's continue. The House Oversight Democratic staff issued their own memo to Democratic lawmakers on the committee later Wednesday, hours after he was released, accusing the Republican chairman of making unfounded accusations against President Biden and his family based on cherry-picked and misleading information about banking documents. Now, I can tell you the banking documents from the article that I read for you guys, that video, I can't name exactly which video it was. I think it was a video about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Those videos are sketchy. And that's the important thing. Like, Joe Biden, you got to learn, you know, it's all about the people that you keep. You can't be having, you know, your son out here doing a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, on camera, you know, with a bunch of peace stars and everything like that, and not expect it to kind of bounce back on you. And that's what you guys got to understand too about people. It's all about the company that you keep. It's essentially like the story where, you know, you're in a car with somebody who has drugs. You may not have the drugs, but it's a bad look. If the news article comes out, Joe Biden was in the car with somebody who had drugs on them, even if that person gets away scot-free and Joe Biden, or that person goes to jail and Joe Biden gets away scot-free, all of the voters are going to look at Joe Biden like, why were you in a car? Why were you doing this? Are you dirty too? Did you just not get caught? Like, you know what I'm saying? It kind of ruins your reputation in a way. Now, this is from the suspicious activity reports reviewed by the committee from the Department of Treasury. It also alleged that Comer has intentionally mischaracterized SAR documents presenting unverified tips from financial institutions as facts. Now, it says committee Republicans' inexplicable misuse of these confidential law enforcement documents is not only responsible, it demonstrates the hyper-partisan nature of committee Republicans' probe into the Biden family. Okay, let's see if there's anything good here. This is a long article. I'm not about to read all of this right now. Let's see what's good here, though. Anything good? Now, they're accusing the Republicans of this attack. This isn't necessarily them coming at Hunter Biden completely here in this article. It's more about the Republicans' investigation into it. Now, they're saying it's been 5 years of investigations into Hunter Biden and his legitimate business practices, and still Republicans have nothing to show for it. Senate Republicans spent 2 years chasing conspiracies for those responsible for Pizzagate and the big lie and found no evidence of any wrongdoing. Now, this is big government stuff. I mean, big government stuff. As we can see, Trump's kind of dealing with the same type of issues, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that, where people are essentially, accusing him of everything. I mean, a lot of this stuff Trump might have did, some of this stuff Trump probably didn't do, but essentially people, when you're in political office, people are going to, they're going to break it down. They're going to look into whatever they can to try to ruin you, because that directly helps them. If the Biden administration can find something on Trump and Trump's no longer, a candidate as a result of it, or it hurts him in the polls so bad, then what does that do? That directly helps Biden's presidency or his candidacy, and it helps the Democrats out as well and everything. So it makes a lot of sense why people would attack. So I want to know what you guys think about this. I want to know what you guys think about Hunter Biden. What do you guys think about him doing business in China? Is it fine for the vice president's son to do, I guess business with, let's say, like Russia or like China, or is that ugly, or is that like fine as long as there's actually no misdoings, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that? Because you can't tell somebody what to do with their business and everything like that, especially if what they're doing is legitimate. So I just want to know kind of what you guys' opinion of that is, for sure, and everything like that. But I'm not gonna hold you guys up. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe to help out the channel. The channel's been doing a lot of growth. I like a lot of the comments that you guys have had. I've been checking out the comments this morning that you guys had on my last Trump video, and it was great to really talk to you guys and see everything you guys thought. Some people get really passionate when it comes to this stuff, and I love to see the passion as long as everybody is very respectful of one another. Now, let's go ahead and get into the next topic, which actually happens to be about our boy Donald Trump. Look at him. Look at the Trumpmeister. The Trumpmeister's looking good right now. Look at him playing some golf. Okay. He looks like he lost a little weight. Now, it looks like the Trumpmeister lost a little weight. As we all know, Donald Trump is not happy right now. He's not doing well right now, because he did just lose his essay trial to Jean Carroll. That's been going on for a while. I've been covering it for months. So to see it finally end was a beautiful thing. It's almost like, if you actually tune in, it's like a story, guys. We talk about topics. We watch them go from the beginning when they start all the way to the end. So it was good to see the case closed there, in a beautiful milestone, that I would say, for my channel, and everything like that. It's good for me and the fans, because I don't want to just talk to you guys about cases that we'll never cover the end of. What's the point of that? Where's the fun in that? Where's the true learning ability in that? But let's see what's going on now. Now it says Donald Trump could face questions on SA verdict in CNN town hall. Now it says Donald Trump could face questions about being found to have SA Jean Carroll when he participates in a CNN town hall on Wednesday night. And the Democrats were extremely angry that CNN was giving him this platform in town hall, which I think is quite crazy, because he is the leading candidate for presidency. To assume that CNBC would give him a platform, to think it's crazy that they would give him a platform is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would a news station not give a platform to the biggest candidate for the Republican Party and the candidacy in 2024? Like, what is are we censoring people now? Are we censoring, presidential nominees? Like, is that what we're doing? Like, the town hall comes just one day after a jury found him liable for SA and defamation, underscoring the former president's mounting legal threats amid his effort to recapture the White House next year. The CNN anchor, Caitlin Collins, will moderate the town hall at 8 p.m. tonight. So actually coming very soon. Let's see what time is it? Let's see here. Let's see what time is it, guys. Looks like it's 8:13, so it's actually started, guys. It's actually started. Where Trump will take questions from Republican and undeclared voters in the early voting stage. Town hall attendees will probably press Trump on how he intends to run for president as he faces legal threats in multiple states. You guys know he just got hit with multiple felonies. Then there was this essay trial he also has in Atlanta. Shout out to Atlanta, the land of lemon pepper wings, with the ranch, of course. And there was the whole thing there. He's dealing with a trial there for essentially a voter fraud from the 2020 election. Now it says on Tuesday, a New York jury concluded he had essayed the advice Jean Carroll 27 years earlier, ordering the president to pay her $5 million in damages for her battery and defamation claims. $5 million. Wow. I think I said $1 million earlier. It was 5. Wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Now, it says because Carroll's lawsuit was a civil case, the verdict did not involve criminal charges, but other ongoing investigations into the former president's election lies and business practices could result in criminal convictions. Last month, he pleaded non-guilty to the 34 felony criminal charges, which were for falsifying business records. We already know about this and everything like that. And there was also, examining his role in the January 6th attack, which we all remember very well, where the Capitol got stormed. It was extremely embarrassing for the United States. Imagine if you heard that England's people all of a sudden to just go into uproar and they literally went into the palace and kidnapped the queen or something like that. That would be extremely embarrassing, and it would show a lot of weakness of our country, which is why, to me, it's just so ugly that happened. Now, despite his legal entanglements, he continues to lead in polls of Republican primary voters. As you guys know, DeSantis is the runner-up. A Morning Consult survey taken earlier this month showed Trump with a 34-point lead over his closest rival, Ron DeSantis, a Florida governor, who is expected to formally launch his presidential campaign in the coming weeks. Now, it marks his first appearance on CNN, which he had repeatedly attacked as fake news, which is interesting. Because, he used to always do that thing where he'd be like, fake news. He does this, fake news. It's fake news. Fake news. Now, his history with Collins specifically is also checkered, given that the Trump administration once blocked and then the then White House correspondent from a press release when she asked Trump inappropriate questions. Now, this is what we want to hear about, guys. We want to hear about what's going on with this whole town hall meeting. You know what I'm saying? It will shine a spotlight on the media's ongoing challenges in attempting to cover Trump and his enduring sway over Republican voters as he continues to peddle lies about widespread fraud in the 2020 presidential election. It's time to let all that go. He got 2024 to worry about. Nobody needs to be talking about 2020. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're in court in Atlanta where he's being accused of voter fraud, it's time to let that go. It's time to let that go and focus on the future. You know what I'm saying? Now, some commentators criticize CNN for giving him such a large platform to repeat those lies, which contributed to the, Capitol and, the 6th, which, it kind of was a bad thing. I think, what was it? One news station got hit with a $100 billion or something, or a $50 billion lawsuit, because they came out and they were pretty much not necessarily in defense, but they were giving a platform for speaking on Trump's possibly, actually the voter fraud and everything in 2020, and them kind of speaking to it. You go on and you're a Republican, you voted for Trump and everything, you go to your favorite news source and they're saying, hey, these votes are fake. It made them real mad, and you know what they did when they got mad? They stormed the Capitol. They didn't care. They stormed the Capitol. So it can be dangerous. And that's why when you deal with news and you're a news outlet, misinformation can be extremely dangerous, which is why I always tell you guys, if I ever say something that sounds crazy or if I ever misinterpret something, let me know in the comments, you know what I'm saying? And we can all discuss it and everything like that. We're all human over here. We all make mistakes, and I definitely make mistakes too. There will be times where I just misinterpret something, and everything like that. This channel is all about us all getting the information and just being informed, you know what I'm saying? Being informed and having good civil discourse. So If I'm wrong on anything, definitely call me out. And I feel like everybody should have that type of attitude. No one is right all of the time. What is that? What is that quote where it's like, even a broken clock is right twice or something like that, or is right once? Look it up if you don't know what quote I'm talking about. You feel me? But now, it says it's very clear to me that CNN and many other mainstream media outlets have not learned their lesson from covering Trump in 2016. They said this, in my opinion, is once again giving him the legitimacy at a time where he is more extreme, more out of control, and his lies are more dangerous than ever. But what they can't say is, what they have to acknowledge though is, guys, this is the main Republican running for candidacy. You can't expect a major news source to not cover him. Like even if he could be ugly. We got Joe Biden sleep. Somebody gonna cover it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now let's see what they have to say. Wow, this is a Trump slaughter fest right now. Now it says putting him on stage, having him answer questions like a normal candidate. He's not a normal candidate. I can definitely say that. Who didn't get people deleted in the process of trying to end the democracy he's attempting to once again run. He wrote, it sends the message that attempting a coup is just part of the process and that accepting election results is a choice and that there are no consequences in the media or politics or anywhere else for rejecting them. And that's, I can kind of resonate with that. I can kind of resonate with that. Trump really didn't, he really was responsible for the storming on the White House. Now, he didn't do it. But he essentially told them to get hyped up and go to the White House, which is a well-protected area. There should have been, I don't know how you would punish him. I don't know if legally you could punish him. But I do understand where he's kind of coming from. It is kind of strange that a president would be able to get away with all of that and just like continue, just go on, live his life. Like, what if he does it again? Like, what are attack a riot on the White House part 2, like part 2, like I might have to go ahead and I got a friend out in Washington DC. I might have to go and get me some tickets at the next election. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going in the White House. I'm not trying to get shot. That's dead. I'm black. I got dreadlocks. It's over with for me. But I might stand outside and just watch all those conservatives go crazy. I may be like, haha, look at that Karen. Like, look at that Karen just got hit with the mace. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I feel like he definitely did get away a little scot-free with what will go down as probably the most famous American coup in history since probably the Civil War. Let's keep it a stack. Now, it said CNN actually did defend their decision to host the town hall, arguing the American people have the right to hear answers from the current frontrunner in the Republican presidential party. It says our job, despite its unique circumstances, is to do what we do best. Ask tough questions, follow up, and hold them accountable to give voters the information they need to sort through their choices. That is our role and our responsibility. So, guys, I want to know what you guys think about this and everything like that. First, I want to know, do you guys think that Trump should have been held accountable for the whole January 6th Capitol riot and everything like that? And not only do you think that he should have been held accountable for it, do you guys think that that should affect his election now? And do you feel, if you do feel that he should have been held accountable, how would you punish this? Do you guys think this would have somehow gone into jurisdiction? Ooh, trying to pull out those, pull out those legal terms. Do you think that has jurisdiction, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that for him to be criminally charged for that, even though he didn't technically do any storming of it, but he kind of incited a riot, which I do think is a charge. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, and everything like that. Also, how do you guys feel about CNBC giving him a platform? Do you guys agree with CNBC giving him a platform, or do you guys think that that's ugly? I think that CNBC is in all of their rights as a news station to give the frontrunner for the presidential candidacy a platform. And even still in that, I can still say that I do think it was very very ugly the way Trump moved with this whole voter fraud, January 6th situation. He definitely handled it wrong. And it shows you, too, the scope of power. If you give somebody too much power, just how much that they can do and then possibly get away with. He didn't get away with that Gene Carroll stuff, though. You know what I'm saying? But even still, though, even after being accused of SA, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna call him. If you guys didn't know what that is supposed to mean, he still seems like the guy who's gonna win the presidency. And to see somebody have to pay out and kind of not get charged with it, but to lose a SA trial and still win presidency would be insane, because that would mean that the American people essentially said that we're all cool with having a president that is cool with essaying women. That's crazy. Like, is that not crazy? It's history being made before our very eyes. It's very ugly history, but it is history being made. But hey, guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to take a quick, give me like 2 minutes. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break. I'll be right back, and then we can finish this out, and we're going to be talking about Putin's very embarrassing, I guess, parade that they had and everything. I honestly didn't know that I knew the Russian people have tons of fun, but I didn't know Putin threw parades, because I never seen him smile. Like, have you guys ever seen a photo of Putin smiling? I don't know, but I'll be right back. All right, guys. Let's get into this last topic. Putin's extremely embarrassing parade, it seems like, that he had and everything like that. I don't know why. I guess I could understand if you were trying to show your military strength through a military parade. But if you only bring in one tank, if your military is not looking that strong, it's not a good look and everything like that. And it seems like that's kind of the situation that Putin has found themselves in. We all thought this war was going to be a clean sweep. We thought this was going to be a 4-0 run, you could say, in basketball. You know what I'm saying? And everything. A 21 skunk, you could almost call it, and everything like that. But Ukraine put out a fight. Shout out to them, with the help of the American dollars, who have absolutely no money to spend. And our recession has gotten worse because of this war. But you know what I'm saying? If we're taking America out of it and everything like that, Ukraine has put up an excellent fight. We all thought it was going to be a clean sweep, a very small country and everything like that. So shout out to the Ukrainian people for sure. It really shows the strength of their people and everything like that. I don't know if the U.S. would be able to get their people behind it like that, because we're very split. We're very separated in the way that we think. And, you know, while we do have a lot of nationalists, we kind of don't, you know? But let's go ahead and get into it. Now, it says Putin's one-tank military parade was an embarrassment for Russia, analysts say. Let me take a sip. Here's the parade right now. Here's their one tank that they had. I might have to ask my dad about this. My dad was actually a tank commander. It always seems weird to me. Oh yeah, tanks do have to be able to aim their guns in the air. It just seems weird that the guns pointed like in the air to me, but it makes sense. You kind of shoot a little. But hey, I'm getting off topic now. It says Russia's scaled down Victory Day military parade showed not only Moscow's insecurities over possible Ukrainian attacks, but also highlighted the country's depleted military resources due to the conflict, political analysts say. May 9th is a public holiday in Russia. Oh, so they really didn't have a choice but to throw this parade. Ah, that makes a lot more sense. I was thinking Vladimir decided to show his people the strength of Russia and came out with one tank. But no, that's not the case. It commemorates the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany in World War II. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word in YouTube. It is arguably the most important day in Russia's public calendar in history, forming a central part of the country's modern national identity. Okay. Interesting. Now we're learning a little about Russia. And guys, don't hate on Russia because of the moves that their government makes. There's a lot of great Russian people out here and everything like that, for sure. And a lot of the Russian people, I'm sure, probably wanted no parts in this war, and they're just kind of there for the ride. They're just like, this is what we're doing right now. This is what we got going on right now. Kind of like the U.S. and Afghanistan. A lot of us were like, we'd rather have our family like at home. We don't even really know why we're out there. Like, what does this have to do with us? I feel like a lot of Russians probably feel that same type of way. I don't feel like the average Russian living in Russia really has beef with Ukraine. Kind of like how Russian and Ukraine have a very, dirty history, I guess you could call it. Now it says this year's military parade through Red Square in Moscow and celebrations around the country were noticeably smaller than in previous years or entirely canceled, with 6 regions, including annexed Crimea, and at least 20 cities halting their commemorations. Now it says in Moscow on Tuesday, the military parade was somewhat more downbeat, with no fly past or Immortal Regiment processions, which are usually large-scale public events to commemorate those, in World War II. There were also far fewer troops and military hardware on show than in previous years, which, it makes sense, guys. They're going through a war. It makes sense. But, hey, if you're on the other side, you get to roast. You get to be like, look at Russia. You're not looking, you're hurt by this war, aren't you? Why don't you stop it? Why don't you stop the attacks? You know what I'm saying? Hey. This is the time where you get to kind of make fun of your enemy, where you get to ha, like Lil Durk, if you guys don't know, ha. That's kind of what we're looking like take the dub, guys. Take the W, guys. For all my guys in Russia, if anybody in Russia is checking this out, I'm sorry you gotta deal with all this. You know what I'm saying? Everything. This is just the Ukrainian America ha moment. Now it says the fact that only one Stalin era tank. Okay, so these tanks are from Stalin, so they're old. They weren't gonna be in it anyway. Was on display. So where are the other ones? I'm sure they're not sending Stalin era tanks into a modern day war. So where were the other ones? Or maybe there aren't any other ones. It was eye catching. It would be hard to imagine a more fitting symbol of Russia's declining military fortunes than the sight of a solitary Staten-era tank trudging across Red Square during the country's traditional Victory Day celebrations. For the past 2 decades, Putin has used Victory Day to showcase modern Russia's resurgence as a military superpower, with dozens of the very latest tanks typically taking part in the latest parade. That's what I'm saying. The parade like this is you show your country, look at our military strength, look how strong we are. Like don't you love that this is your country, and everything like that. But when you pull out and you see one old tank, you're like, dang, like we about to lose this war. Like like geez, y'all ain't have 5 tanks, like dusty tanks back in the vault that y'all could have used. He said this year, the only tank on display was a T-34 model dating back to World War II, which is pretty cool. Let's take a look at it again. Now I do look at it, it does look, like an older style tank. Now that I actually take a look at it, and everything like that. See, here was the tanks before. These tanks look serious. See, these tanks look scary. Look at this tank versus this tank. Hey, if you were dealing with a tank, would you rather deal with this tank or would you rather deal with this tank? I think we all know the answer to that now. Now, as Dickinson noted, he noted inevitably the embarrassing absence of tanks at this year's Victory Day parade has been widely interpreted as a further evidence of Russia's catastrophic losses in Ukraine. Now it says the ministry noted the makeup of Russia's annual Victory Day parade highlighted the material and strategic communication challenges they're facing 15 months into the war with Ukraine. So we're 15 months into this war. This war that we all thought was essentially we thought this was going to be like a 3-month sweep. Like, honestly, I know, at least as far as Americans, I don't know other people's perceptions from outside. Americans were thinking this was going to be a clean sweep. If you are American and you were thinking this was going to go this long, 15 months, please let me know. And please let me know why you felt that way. Because when you thought about Russia and you thought about Ukraine, you never think about Ukraine as even like a threat. Russia, we think about as our biggest threat. So we just thought if these two threats came together, it would be Russia taking the dub easy. Now it said over 8,000 people took part in the parade, but majority were auxiliary, paramilitary forces and cadets from military training. The only personnel from deployable formations of regular forces were contingents of railway troops and military police and everything like that. And we're talking about the drone attack on the Kremlin and everything like that. It says that they could have had more armored vehicles, but they refrained from doing so because they wanted to avoid domestic criticism about prioritizing parades over combat operations, which I could see, but I feel like the people 3, 4 tanks, 5 tanks, I don't feel like most people would be like, "Oh wow, you guys got 3, 4, 5 tanks at this parade? Like, shouldn't we be fighting on the front lines?" I don't think they had to do the most, but 1 tank. I don't know. Let me know what you guys would think about that situation and everything like that. Now, you said Ukraine was quick to make a remark on this. It says the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's official Twitter account quipped that modern Russian military equipment can be found much more easily at Ukrainian military trophy exhibitions than at the victory parade in Moscow, roasting. Pretty much saying, hey, we got all the Russian tanks because we already beat them down. While he said that the whole of Ukraine was laughing at Russia's 1 tank, Ukraine continues to distance itself from Russia's sphere of influence and orbit. And on Tuesday, Zelensky submitted a draft law to the Ukrainian parliament proposing that May 8th be known as the Day of Remembrance and Victory over Nazism and the Second World War rather than May 9th as in Russia and other former Soviet republics. He said now it will be known as Europe Day, with Zelensky noting we will commemorate our historic unity, the unity of all Europeans who destroy Nazism and will defeat Ruskism. Was that like Russian fascism? So he's created a word. I like that. And I think that that's a good way to get the Ukrainian people, going for this. They're kind of saying this is a big day for not only the United States, this is a massive day for Ukraine. They get to roast Russia. They have a good reason to roast Russia. And the point that they're even talking about this lets you know they're not scared of Russia anymore. You know what I'm saying? And everything like that. It shows a lot. So let me know what you guys think about this and everything. I want to know what you guys think. Does this actually show that Russia is actually weakening? Or do you guys think this was actually the type of situation where it was like, okay, we're in a war right now. We shouldn't be bringing a bunch of troops, a bunch of artillery and over here presenting it for a parade for our citizens when we're literally in a war. They think that could be a bad look. I would have thought that this would have been a way to show, hey, we're in this war, but hey, we still got our strength. We still got troops on troops on troops. We still got tanks on tanks on tanks, and really show Ukraine like, hey, we're not playing around. We can keep this going if y'all want to keep this going. That's what I would have assumed, but I don't know. I feel like they just made excuses, and that's why they were like, oh, the Russian people didn't want to see tanks and have their parade that they normally have. Big day for Ukraine, big victory for Ukraine. Good day for United States as well. We pouring all of this money into Ukraine. We might as well celebrate the benefits too, because people, our country is going broke. Or no, our country was already broke, and then we were giving billions of dollars to this war, which made us even more broke, which who's going to have to pay for? Where does the United States government get their money, guys? They get it from us. We're paying for it. You know what I'm saying? And everything like that. So let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you guys think about this. What side are you guys on? Do you guys think Russia was right for, you know what I'm saying, having a scaled down parade? Or should they have really showed their Russian strength? You know what I'm saying? And everything like that. Obviously, this is a W day for Ukrainians. So shout out to the Ukrainian people. They never thought they would have entered this type of war-like situation in the first place. So they deserve this. They deserve a day to finally be happy and try to put at least some of their situation behind them for sure. But thank you to everyone who popped into the stream today. Thank you. Obviously throw likes, comments, subscribes, and everything like that. It definitely helps the channel grow. It helps me make more videos, and it also helps us get more civil discourse. I love when we're all talking about these topics and everything like that, not only on the lives, but also in the comments. The comments can get crazy sometimes, guys. People have opposing opinions. Just keep it respectful. You already know. So I hope you guys all have an absolutely blessed day. And, take a shot, Let's take a sip of beer, And this is shout out Ukraine. And, hey, Russia, you got what was coming for you. So shout out to that. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day.